Good evening, everybody. Glad to see you again. Glad to talk to you again in English in my series to expose and to tell everybody about what's happening in the daily life of the Syrian people. Actually, I decided to talk about the Iranian profile in Syria now because now we are passing and we are living the annual anniversary of Al-Bida massacre that happened for a long time, maybe in the beginning days of the Syrian revolution. And as you see, I decided to talk about the Iranian profile because this profile is so sensitive, and I want everybody to understand the influence of the Iranian regime inside Syria. Everybody knows that this regime is supporting Al-Assad regime 100%. And this regime is responsible about everything happening on land in Syria. So I decided to talk firstly about the mentality of the Iranian regime. And maybe you need somebody from the Middle East and living in the Middle East to tell you about this. And I'm sure that anybody outside the Middle East can't understand the view very well. You are watching the photo or the picture from outside, but you have to ask somebody and to know from somebody who is living and in real contact with those people. And if you ask anybody in the Middle East, he will answer you the same way and the same words that I am saying now. You will hear from about the regime. And when I am talking about Iran, I don't mean the Iranian people, because I know and I'm sure very well that most of the Iranian people are not in a real agreement with their regime, and they refuse what this damned regime is doing. So this greedy regime is doing the worst crimes for the people in the Middle East. And I can say that the regime of Iran is the real devil that makes the life of the humanity in danger. So, before I start talking, you know very well that one day in the past, Iran was a superpower. Maybe in the Middle Ages and before the Middle Ages, that's the Persian Empire. Until now, this regime is trying to live these days, and they have a big dream to make this empire come to life again, even if they are forced to kill all the communities and all the people who are living in the Middle East. Because, their empire was located in the Middle East, and most of our lands, Iraq, Syria, and maybe Saudi Arabia and some other countries were colonies for this empire. They refuse to understand that every era of history is special by its own givings, but they try to rebuild and to get the victories of that empire and make it come back to life again. This is a very stupid dream, and they are still living in this. And they know very well that it's impossible to do that. So the best way is to make religion the way to make the Iranian people soldiers in this stupid dream. Most of the Iranian people don't understand this very well because, when you think in a religious way, in this case, you will be blind and you will not think more. You are doing only what's religion saying to you. So they decided to make a fake religion that support this idea. But the main and the major idea and the goal and the target that they want to do is to achieve their historical dream by making the empire come to life again. And this is impossible, of course. And everybody knows that this is impossible. But they are living this dream in a stupid way. So they don't mind if they kill the people who are living in the Middle East totally. Most important is to get the lands and to take these lands and to make the empire come back to life again. What we what we will think about if all the old empires, the ancient world was full of empires, the Roman, the Greek, the Islamic, the Iranian, the Chinese, were empires located each other or neighboring to each other. What we will think about this if these empires began to think to come back to life again? In this case, the whole modern world will be destroyed. So everybody in the world understand very well that this is impossible and this is not available anymore. But the Iranian regime still thinking in this way with the fake stories about religion. Even the religion that they are believing in is fake and to support political issues. So they think that the Arabic land and especially the Middle East is their property and they want to retake these lands and try to give a new birth for the empire that they were living in the past. Past is past and past will not come back to life again because we are looking for a future and a future for all the people who are living in the Middle East and in the world as well. Anyway, so I tried to talk about history and I tried to analyze for you the mentality of the regime away and far away from the people who are living in Iran that we suppose they are all the time good people, but they are blinded by fake stories of religion. Ladies and gentlemen, with the beginning and with the start of the Syrian revolution, Iran, who or maybe were a great support for al-Assad regime, decided and discovered that Syria and the Middle East will be sick and will be weak in the times of the revolution. So they thought mistakenly that it is the right time and the correct time to start the dream again. And they came because they discovered that Bashar al-Assad is a weak person and he will need somebody to support him because he can't resist the people of his country who wanted freedom. He can't resist alone, so he needs some power to support him. And absolutely this power was Iran, that is able to kill and to kill and to kill and not stop killing. Bashar al-Assad mistakenly thinks that Iran is supporting him because they are friends. Iran is supporting him because they know that he is weak man and he is the way and the ladder that will give them the right chance to achieve the goal and the historical dream again. So they came to Syria and they don't mind even they kill all the Syrian people inside Syria for this ambitious dream. After 2 or 3 days of the Syrian revolution, and after all the revolutionists show all the world that they wanted freedom, the only way for Iran and the Iranian regime to show the world, to show the people in Syria that they are ready to kill, they are able to kill, and they don't mind to kill, and to plant the seeds of horror and to terrify people inside Syria to come back to the cage of dictatorship again and to give them Syria as a free meal for their greedy historical dream. The only way is to kill. And to kill man after a man is not a good way. So they decided to make a great massacres and to show all the people inside Syria that they are ready to make this again and again and again and again. And this is what happened really. Usually the doers, the people, the criminals who committed the crimes were from al-Assad regime and his army and sometimes of his secret service, like what happened in Al-Bayda and Al-Hawla and many other villages and cities. For example, in Al-Bayda, they killed all the villages, They killed all the village. About 800 men, women, and child. They killed them in a cold blood, and they showed all the world that they are ready to kill and to assassinate more people for their dream. Al-Assad was keeping silent because he is just a coward, and he thinks mistakenly that he is keeping his throne by terrifying his people and not to negotiate with his people to understand what they need and what they want. So he agreed 100%, so he is also a partner in this great crime. Al-Bayda was not the only massacre. A lot of massacres followed after that. And we heard a lot about, in every maybe 1 week, there is a new one. I call this an Iranian genocide because they think that those people who are living here in Syria and in the Middle East are not the real people of these lands, and they want to take these lands again. So they wanted to kill or to force those people to leave this land because they are afraid of killing and death. It was a very hard times. Every week, and I was at that time in Syria, every week we were waiting the news of the new massacre that Iran, by the hands of Al-Assad regime's army, will do, and we will see, and we will only keep silent and can't do anything because we were very weak. They have the weapons, they have the power, they have everything, and we have only the simple people who are waiting in their villages to be assassinated. Hundreds of massacres and hundreds of ways of genocide were done by Iranian hands and also by the army of Al-Assad hands. And all the world knows this, and you can find it very easily everywhere you want to find. Maybe Al-Bayda is one of the biggest, but it is not the only one. You have to see, for example, the great graves that they done for hundreds of people in Al-Hula. You have to see how many children were killed and slaughtered by knives. Until now, there are some peoples who are killing by knives, by cutting the heads, by cutting the necks, by cutting the throats, even they are children or maybe they are adults, no problem, because they think that this child must be killed before he became a man and he will be a fighter for this stupid dream. I remember, for example, when I was in Syria, I will talk about one of my experience. You know, all the time, the revolution was like this. Al-Assad army maybe progressed to some area. Then after some time, he withdrew because of the power of the revolutionists and many other things like this. One of the villages refused to go outside and to leave their lands. What happened, and this village was close to my village, what happened that when Iran and the militia that's followed to Iran entered this village, who were peacefully, they are very simple farmers. They were about 25 family. It's a very small village. When they entered this village, they assassinated all the men, all the males, even they are children. They assassinated them, and they maybe did one of the most terrible massacre that the Syrian revolution had ever seen. And also the women who tried to defend their men, they killed them in a very cold blood, and they were smiling and they were very happy by killing the Syrian people. This is the mentality of Iran. So Iran don't mind to kill all the Syrian people and all the people who are living in the Middle East just for the sake of making their dream come true. So Iran is doing a huge and terrible and devilish also strategy, political strategy to conquer the people who are living in the Middle East for the sake of a dream. It is just a dream. Past will not come back again. Past is gone and past is past. But Iran is still living in the dream. I try to say this not to show a historical record, because I think everybody in the world can understand this, and I think 50% maybe of the world show or saw by their eyes a lot of the massacres. But I want to assure two things. The first thing, that this is the mentality of the Iranian regime. Even though the hands that committed the crime is the hand of Al-Assad regime, but it is the strategy of the Iranian regime. Al-Assad regime is a coward and unable to do anything, and he will be defeated in 5 days if Iran is outside our area. So he is just following the orders, and he is keeping blind and blinding himself just to make Iran satisfy and to be sure that Iran will be all the time supporter for him if he gave them the right to do what they want on our lands. Al-Assad regime is just a doer, is just the hand that is doing the crime, but the real planner, the real one who is giving the orders, is the generals and the marshals of the Iranian powers and the Iranian stupid policy that is leading the Middle East to the greatest genocide. And the dream of Iran is not and will not stop inside the borders of Syria. Never. And all the world must understand this. Iran and the Iranian regime is a real danger for the whole Middle East, because they think that all the people who are living in the Middle East are just newcomers to these places, and they must leave even to death and graves, or to leave any place else over the world. But they wanted, and they still want, these lands, all the Middle East, not only Syria. And you see this very well, that they are trying to make a lot of problems in all of the world or all of the Middle East. They think that all the Middle East is their own property, and the world is keeping silent. The world must move soon and very soon to face and to stop the dreams, the greedy dreams, the ambitious dreams, the horrible and the crazy dreams of the Iranian regime. What's making me surprised all the time, that all the world is watching and all the world is trying to understand the reality in another way. And this way all the time is fake all the time. They don't think about the mentality of the Iranian regime. They think about only the showed politics, as if Iran is saying the truth. Iran will not say the truth. Iran will not say what's inside their hearts and their brains. Iran will not tell you that they are trying to get this empire again, even they killed millions and millions and millions of people. Iran will not do this. Iran is a real monster and the most horrible devil. And all the world must be one front and try to defeat Iran, because Iran is a real danger for the all humanity. I still remember until now how many children Iran killed. I still remember until now how many children have been slaughtered. Could you believe this? That until now you can slaughter a child and in a very cold blood and you are smiling. And you think that you are killing your enemy before he became strong enough to be a real enemy for you. You are trying as if it is a kind of protection for cancer. You know, when you have cancer and when you maybe have any danger to get any virus in the future, you try to get a protection before. Iran think in this way. Iran try to get or to understand or to do many things just to protect their dream that will be in danger anytime. Iran destroyed our lands. Iran destroyed Syria, destroyed Lebanon, destroyed Yemen. And Iran all the time trying to endanger the safety of the Gulf, Saudi Arabia and Emirates and all these countries. When Iran come to any country, this country will be destroyed. Because they are people living in the Middle Ages. They are not living at this time. They are just living in the Middle Ages. The gate and the big wide gate of the history closed in front of the eyes of the Iranian regime for maybe 1,000 years before, or maybe 2,000 years before. That's right, and all the world must understand this. Iran is our real danger. Iran is our real danger. So, I ask everybody in the world, I ask all humanity to understand that if we have, for example, a pyramid of dangers of the people and the communities and the problems that is facing humanity, I ask all the world to know that Iran is on the top. Iran is the real danger, and all the world must be hand in hand, hand with hand, hand by hand, to defeat Iran. Not to save the Arabic countries and the Middle East only. It is a necessity to save also the Iranian people, because the Iranian people from inside, from within, are very simple people. They are very close to Arabs. I know very well that in the past they were living in a peaceful way and they don't have any dream. But this diamond regime succeeded to convince some of them, and not all of them, that Iran will be a superpower in the future, and Iran will have the great future, and Iran will defeat all the world and conquer all the world. And now the some that I am talking about, even they are a minority, they are not a majority, but this minority is the soldier and the method and the way and maybe the hand that is going every day outside Iran to make problems for the whole world. The world saw by himself a lot of the crimes of Iran outside the Middle East. But because maybe it was limited, the world kept silent, or maybe tried to make some procedures that is limited. But these procedures is not enough, and the whole world need to support each other to defeat Iran. The priority for the humanity is to defeat Iran. Iran as a regime, not Iran as a culture and a human community. Because I know very well, and I have some friends of Iran, that they refuse 100% what the Iranian regime is trying to do. The majority of the Iranian people are good people, and they refuse what's happening in Syria and all the Arabic lands and the world as well. The majority of the Iranian people want really peace between Iran and all the neighbors and the world as well. But this stupid regime that is living in the past, refusing and is still refusing and will not be convinced in a day that the future of the humanity is based on love and the procedures of neighborhood and the procedures of peace, and everybody in the world deserve peace. Iran is ready to kill our people more and more. Iran killed a lot of people and tried to make the most horrible genocide maybe in the modern ages inside Syria, and still able to do that if it's not defeated by the world. Whole world has a big responsibility. The people in the Middle East as total must be one front in front of Iran. And this front will defeat this dream, this crazy dream, and the whole Middle East will be safe when Iran understands very well that future is for the peaceful community and not the peaceful and not the horrible and not the criminal and not the genocide and not the hatred. But this is not easy. So the world must be one front, and this is what I call for. It's very difficult to convince somebody who is living for his own and who is living in his past. It's very difficult to convince him that we are living in the modern ages. We are living in the days of democracy, in the days of freedom, in the days of individuality. in the days of love and peace and no hatred between communities. But it's impossible to convince the Iranian regime about this. So the only way is the unity. The world must be united, not to save the Middle East, not to save the Iranian people only, but to save the humanity, because Iran is a real danger for the whole humanity. Actually, we were talking with Iran for a long time. And personally, I met a lot of people from Iran during my last times when I was in Syria, when I was in the Gulf, I met a lot of Iranian people. And I discovered by myself that the Iranian people are in a real isolation of the political life. They are very poor people and they are very simple people. They want to live like all the world. So this unity that I am calling for, this unity that I am talking about, my dream is the unity of the humanity to maybe in front of Iran, to defeat Iran. This will be a great help for the Iranian people too. The same way that we are living in Syria is the way that the Iranian people are living. There is no democracy, it's a fake democracy. Many people from Iran told me about this face-to-face in the past. They told me that they don't dare even to say one word. If they say no, this means they will go behind the sun and they will not come back to life again. It's very easy to kill any man or woman in Iran. The same stories of rape in the prisons, the same stories of torture. Our regimes that's living in the Middle East, for example in Syria, I am talking about Syria and I will not go beyond Syria. The ways and the procedures that we are maybe living in the detention, or the people who are maybe living under detention now, the same ways and the same methods of torture is just one branch of the great school of the Iranian regime torture. So this regime is the stem and the most important maybe giver to the black mentality, to the devilish mentality, to the regimes that's controlling the Middle East. We wanted peace with everybody. We wanted peace with Iran, we wanted peace with Israel, we wanted peace between Arabs, we wanted peace with the European Union and America, and we want to be friends to everybody. There is no enemy for us. The enemy who is giving us just his bad ideas. The enemy who is trying to be an enemy for us. But if somebody wanted peace, we will give him the hand of peace and we will share him our future. And we will open the gates and open the hearts for him before the gates. And we are very serious in this. We have a big dream to achieve peace, and I know that I am started to talk about the Iranian genocide, and I think I talked about this. But I wanted to say that even the Iranian people will be welcomed in our lands and we will share them our future, because future is something must be shared between all humanity. We don't have enemy. We don't have enemy at all. And we are trying to be, and we will be, friends for everybody who wanted really to be free and to be friend for us. But it's impossible to make a friendship with the Iranian regime, because it's impossible to make a friendship between a human being and the devil. The devil all the time, since the beginning of the humanity, the birth of the humanity, the devil is an enemy for the man himself, is an enemy for the future of the man. And Iran is the real enemy. Iran is more dangerous than the devil himself. So it is a priority for the all of the world to be one front again, in front of the dreams and the stupid and devilish politics of Iran, that if they had the chance again, they will kill the rest of the Syrian people and the rest of the people who are living in the Middle East, regarding their races or anything else. Iran is our priority. We hope and we wish that all the humanity will be safe, also Iran. But Iran as a people, Iran as a good community, Iran the good neighbor that we know very well, Iran the simple man who is working very hard like any Arabic country to earn his living hardly because of the stupid procedures by this regime. But it's impossible to make peace between Iran and the world, Iran and the Arabic neighboring countries, because of the stupid way and the stupid thinking and the stupid strategy of the regime itself. Let's save the humanity. Let's save the rest of the humanity in our countries by stopping the dreams of Iran. Everybody, and I mean it, everybody, every country in the Middle East must be one front and must be united to stop the dreams of Iran. They must be outside our lands, because their presence inside our lands means that they are still think and still dream. We must stop and we must fight this dream, and I'm sure that we will find a help inside Iran itself. I say again and again, the Iranian people as a majority are good people and they refuse what's happening. And you remember very well, before some months, the uprising, the great uprising inside Iran, and this is a great evidence that the Iranian people wanted to be modern and wanted to be civilized society, but even them, they don't have the chance to achieve this. Let's help Iranian people and let's help ourselves. Let's help all the humanity to be safe after we get rid of the stupid dream of the Iranian regime. I would like again to say good night. I was very happy to talk to you, and I hope everybody can do it. He can share my video just to convey the message of the simple people who are living in the Middle East, that who knows very well the reality, and they have a big trust that the world must move one hand to stop the Iranian dream and to save souls. Maybe it will be assassinated in a barbarian way by the hands of Al-Assad regime and his greatest support, Iran. Thank you very much.